You are gold. You know that, right?
Oh, you are so nice. I love you.
Oh, the best is yet to come for all of us.
For sure.
Cheers to you.
It's my kind of interview.
Salute to health, wealth, and prosperity.
You got it.
Bomb. The daytime diva with the voice. How are you?
I am fantastic.
The world famous Lynne Haze is in the building for members only. Glad to have you here.
Hey, I like that. I'm happy to be here. I really am.
You're a legend, baby.
Thank you for saying that.
Absolutely.
I always thought it was just in my own mind, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad to hear someone else say it.
Your voice is so powerful, you know. You get a lot of compliments on your voice.
I do.
Yeah.
I do. And sometimes, you know, you have a gift. It took me a long time to say, okay, this is my gift. Because for a while I wouldn't say it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I thought, oh, well, maybe I'm being egotistical or whatever, but I've finally gotten really comfortable with that's, you know, what God gave me.
Yes, ma'am, the comfort is good. So let's talk about your journey to success. New York is in the building, right?
New York is in the building.
In Buffalo, New York?
Yeah, I come from Buffalo, New
Okay.
York. Okay, and the thing about Buffalo, New York, first of all, is extremely cold. But when we grew up, you either worked in the steel plant or we got on the radio. So I chose the radio, and there were people like, you know, Frankie Crocker and all these people at the time that were legends. And so my mother is the one that said, hey, why don't you try radio? Because I was a talker and I love music. I just want, anytime music, still to this day, I want to be around music. So I went to broadcast school back then.
Okay.
And my mother was like, well, because I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. And so she's like, if you decide to do broadcast school, I'll pay for it. So I'm like, okay. You know, she said, but you got to, you know, finish. So I finished. And then I was the only girl in the class, which was really, back then, you know, it was strange, but I was the only girl in the class. And then I started working for the local radio station in Buffalo. And it was a heritage station. It's still there, WUFO. So that's where I started.
What did you see, hear, or feel to make you want to pursue radio?
Well, I think what I saw, first of all, was, again, like I said, it was that feeling of loving music. And I didn't really, like as a child, think that I wanted to be a DJ. I actually wanted to be a singer, you know, because I sang in a group. We did, you know, a couple little sessions and things like that.
Are you going to sing for us today?
No, not today.
Okay.
And it was four of us, and we all grew up together, and we used to sing. Even now, we meet every year in Buffalo, and we have some jam sessions. So it's really fun to be able to reconnect. We started reconnecting maybe in the last 8-9 years. But it was really that passion for music that really got me involved in radio. And it wasn't even like I thought I had this voice and I needed to do that. It was my mother talking me into it to give it a shot. And then once I gave it a shot, then it just grabbed me. It grabbed a hold of me, and I'm like, I can do this. This is something I can do. So that's what I started doing.
Who's your favorite artist all time? And I know that's kind of a tough question.
That is a tough question.
Because there's so many genres, but if you got to pick one, maybe two?
I can pick about 10, but who is somebody that because I love singers, people that can sing. So I mean, I would go with Whitney, Shaka Khan, Nita Baker, you know, so I just love, you know, voices like that. Because again, I love singing, so I love voices.
How do you feel about music today? Being that you've seen music evolve from past 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, it's a different thing now.
Well, it is a different thing. But the one thing I do that I admire and respect about the music today is that these people are bosses. See, back then, you know, you went in, you sang, you didn't have publishing, you didn't own, unless you were like Sam Cooke back in the late 50s. He was one of the few people that actually owned his own publishing. And if you read his story, it's amazing because he's doing things that these people are doing now. So you look at like Rick Ross and you look at people like this, that they're making these moves. You know, now, do I agree with a lot of it? No. I do. Like I said, I like singers. I like what Cardi B is doing. I like the fact how she brands herself, and you know how she's outspoken and she has her own vibe. So they're doing it differently. Even Offset. I mean, they're doing it differently. So that part, I respect.
Yes, ma'am. Outside of being one of the world's best radio personalities, like ever, what drives you?
Well, I guess a lot of things drive me. Certainly not wanting to be able to pay my bills.
Amen.
That's one thing that drives me a lot. What drives me is just my love of the game. My love of the game. And it's sort of like what I've learned is when I get behind the microphone, because you have all these politics and a lot of things that I don't even want to touch. You know, that I don't even want to deal with or that I've dealt with and I've seen behind the scenes that's, you know, not cool. But what drives me is when I go in and I turn the microphone on and I express myself and I say those things. And sometimes I've had people come to me and say, you know what, I was really feeling down and I heard you say so-and-so, so-and-so, or I heard you do da-da-da, and it really lifted me. And I'm just like, really? You know, but it motivates you to say, I have to keep going. Because sometimes you get to that point and you're like, why am I doing this? Why am I dealing with this bullshit? Excuse French. You know, but it's sort of, it's times like that that make you understand that this is why I deal with it. This is why I love it.
Favorite on-air interview?
Ooh, okay. I've had some good ones too.
I'm pretty sure you have.
So, okay, now this is really old school because I'm an old school girl, but probably one of my favorites was like Luther Vandross when he was alive.
Skinny Luther, Big Luther?
Actually, I've interviewed both of them.
Interesting.
That was probably one of my favorite ones. And if I wanted to get like more current, more up to date, I would say El DeBarge, you know. So again, I'm the old school girl. He was just amazing.
Down to earth.
Yeah. So I've interviewed a lot of people. He was so down to earth and so fun. And it was that time he had just gotten out of jail, and he had just recorded, you know, a new album. Him and Faith Evans had done some things, and so we got a chance to go in and talk to him. And Jennifer Hudson was another one of my favorites.
Wow.
She was just, and this was a skinny Jenny. You know,
Skinny
which
Jenny.
she is now. So she was great too.
So for your amazing show throughout the week, what do you do to prepare for your show? Like, what's your daily ritual?
My daily, this is an interesting question, but my daily ritual is I get up because I'm on the air at 9, so I probably get up at 5:30. I grab my computer. The first thing I do, well, after I have my meditation, I grab my computer and I get on. I have to show prep. That's the key to my show. So it's like, what am I going to talk about today? Okay, what's going on in the news? Okay, what is Steve Harvey doing? Because I come on after him. Can I mention something that I got for Steve Harvey? Okay, what are we doing? So I have a log. You know, what music am I playing today? And it takes me a minute, you know, because it takes me, you know, hour and a half just to kind of put together. Okay, in this break I'm going to say this. On that break I'm going to say that. So you kind of lay it all out. You may have a couple open breaks where you improvise, but for the most part, it's laid out.
Where do you see radio in the next 5 years?
That's a good question. Black radio,
Okay.
I see still going because black people tend to depend on radio more than our counterparts. We tend to listen to the radio. We have a relationship with the radio. And I'm not saying that other people don't, but I mean, we listen. You know, we listen to the radio intently. So I see, but I've also been involved with internet because I'm working with some people at 247.com, 247black.com. And it's like a 24/7 where you do a lot of internet video, radio, different things like that. So that's evolving. It's evolving, like when we see podcasts and different things like that. Things are going to still break out and still evolve, and people will still, listen, and they'll get their news and their information how they want to get it. But black radio will, I think in 5 years, will still be there for us, still serving our communities.
Any advice for anyone that wants to pursue radio in this day and time?
In this day and time, yeah. do it. First of all, do it. But I say, my thing is, and what I've learned is to always be prepared as you can be. First of all, listen to people that you like, figure out where you want to be, and practice, practice, practice. And I say that because one of the things that I've learned from being in radio, I've learned a lot because, I've learned how to interview people. I had to do news. I had to be quick on my feet because the type of radio we do, you have to be quick on your feet.
Yes, ma'am.
I can be in there and it's 10 seconds left and I'm like, what am I gonna say? And boom, as soon as it's open, hey, boom, I know exactly what I'm gonna say, or it'll fall into place, but you have to be quick on your feet. So I would just say, first of all, connect with people in radio that you want to, grow to be, because a lot of people is like, well, do you have internships or do you have things like that? Because even though what we call terrestrial radio, it's still existing, especially if it's, the Black thing. If you want to do a podcast, but connect with people that are doing it. That's the first thing. And then figure out where you want to fit into that. Because one thing about radio too is you may not want to be on the air. You may want to be in sales. You may want to be in programming. You want to be in marketing. So there are so many different aspects. So you want to find where it is you want to be first. Because I have people all the time like, I want to, help me. I'm like, okay, so what do you need? Well, so you got to figure that part out as best you can. And then you reach out to people that are doing like-minded things.
Yes, ma'am. Miss Lynne, you are gold. You know that, right?
Oh, you are so nice. I love you.
Oh, the best is yet to come for all of us.
For sure.
Cheers to you.
It's my kind of interview.
Salute to health, wealth, and prosperity.
You got it.
Right.
Yummy.
We thank you so much for being a part of Members Only.
And now I'm a member.
Yes, you are. Thank you, darling.
All right, my pleasure.